Hi, it's Karen Young here from Property Zest Buyers Agency, just with a quick update on what's going on in property here in Brisbane. So for the last month or so, we've been very busy looking at property, mostly in the northern suburbs of Brisbane. That's been a really popular spot. The other popular spot that we've been visiting is the Logan area. So in that inner ring of about 8 to 14 k's out of the CBD, particularly on the north side of Brisbane, that's a really popular pocket at the moment. Well-priced property, big blocks of land, usually older style, post-war weatherboard type housing, but lots of scope for add value or already renovated properties. The yields out there at the moment are around about 4.5% or so. With some cosmetic renovation, you can get that up a little bit higher. The other area, as I mentioned, is Logan. We're spending a lot of time out there in areas such as Marsden, Kingston, Woodridge, Logan Lee, Logan Central, those sort of pockets. And the reason that people are interested in that sort of area is that it's around about 19 or 20 k's out of the CBD, but really well yielding. So you can get a low set brick and tile house that's about 15 years old or so, and you're going to be yielding about 6% on those properties without doing any work to them at all. Now there's also some cosmetic add value potential properties out in that way. There's something called the Roachdale Rumpus, which is where you fill in a garage or a carport and to get another bedroom or a living space and really up your yield again. Talking about sloping blocks, the last week or so I've had a couple of issues with looking at sloping blocks, and I just wanted to give you my thoughts and impressions on that. Now, Brisbane is a hilly city, and so we do have a lot of property that is on a sloping block. Now, a couple of things to think about: the direction of the slope. So is it left to right or back to front? Left to right or right to left, side to side slope, not as into that, to be honest. I would prefer a slope that goes backwards or forwards. In terms of the scale of the slope, that's also important. So if you've got a minor slope going side to side or back to front, not such a big deal. If you've got a bigger slope, quite a noticeable sloping, a couple of meters of difference in height from back to front or side to side, that's where these sorts of considerations come into play. So the side to side slope, that's quite considerable. I'm not actually all that into those sorts of properties, and I know a lot of people aren't. In terms of considerable slope going from the front downwards toward the back of the property, so your property is sitting lower than the street, once again, it is probably more preferable to be on the higher side of the street. Although I wouldn't necessarily discount a house that's sloping away from away from the street, I would be more inclined to prefer something that is on the higher side of the street. You've got to also think about the drainage when there's a slope on the blocks, because up here in Brisbane, when you get rain, you can really get rain, and drainage is a really important consideration in your due diligence. So what you're looking for is you're making sure that the drainage around the property is adequate, because if you've got a house sitting on a block that's on a slope, water is going to come down and meet that house somewhere. You want to be diverting water where possible away and around the house, rather than having it come underneath and pool underneath, perhaps in low points around the foundations, because that can cause issues. So I would suggest that you check out the slope of the block, how severe it is or how steep it is, and is there adequate drainage around that property to cater for any water flow or overland flow.